Good morning. I'm Josiah Knight, and with Knight Solutions, we've teamed up as a consulting agency with CCIA to provide a leading-edge job search application. This powerful tool will leverage Salesforce to give job seekers the ability to collaborate with employee specialists to find the job that they love at a company aligned with their priorities. The job search tool does this by organizing and tracking the job search process into simple and intuitive steps. Today, we will discuss the following topics: tracking the job search data, the employee specialist, automation and dashboards, the unique feature, which is an automated lead conversion, and finally, a demonstration of the CCIA app. We start with how we track the job search data. Here, you can see which tabs capture each kind of data. Contacts are captured as job leads for potential contacts, and people for existing contacts. Companies are placed in target companies, applications are entered in job applications, and informational interviews can be found on the calendar. We also make a point of tracking contact relationships, such as the important people in company that you see in number 6. As well as on the right, you can see we also track the relationships between people as seen on the People tab. Next, let's discuss the employee specialist. The employee specialist will have limited access to the records of the job seeker. You can see in number 1, they have view-only access to companies and job applications. In number 2, you can see they have no access to the informational interviews that the job seeker can see on their calendar. In number 3, you see that the employee specialist does have the ability to create contacts with a new button at the top right that's circled. Our third topic is automation and dashboards. We have a variety of automated reminders available to help foster relationships. They include an initial contact task follow-up after a week with no reply, a monthly foster relationship task reminder after an initial contact, and an interview follow-up email reminder 24 hours after an interview. We have you covered for reports and dashboards as well to meet your data visualization needs. You can view reports grouped and displayed in a graphical chart, or view a dashboard with the job application and informational interview charts in a single place. Our last topic before the demonstration is the unique feature we have implemented, automated lead conversion. Here, this feature lets you speed up the job search process by marking 6 criteria as acceptable on a job lead. It will automatically be converted into a target company, a person, and a job application just by saving it after entering those 6 criteria. Now let's go see the job search app in action with a little hands-on demonstration. Here, you see the job search dashboard. So here at the top left, you can see 4 different charts that have been designed to highlight what the job applications by their stage and last activity, informational interview by who's been contacted and what the outcomes of each of those were. Off to the right, there's an assistant to let you catch up on any activity that might be falling through the cracks. You can see today's events and tasks, which are listed on the right, as well as recent opportunities or recent records if you want to follow up with those. So this is the springboard for the beginning of the application. This is where all of your job leads come into, including from prospective leads, all of the places that you might go, start here. And so I've gone ahead and generated one as a sample, and we're just going to follow it through the process so everybody's familiar with the process. So here you can see that we have it split up by all the different criteria check marks, so you can easily see what they are and currently what their rating status is. So we're going to go into the Sesame Street one here by Fred Rogers. You may have heard of him. It's also known as Mr. Rogers. And so I've already filled out all of the information that might be filled out for it, but I haven't marked what we found acceptable. So as I'm glancing through this, I really like their mission. They have a great mission. So I'm going to go in here and edit the check marks here. Their mission is great. Their culture is really good.
Decide, just so you know, you're at the 5-minute mark.
Thank you. I'm tracking it as well. Appreciate it. Here's the address is good. That's convenient and local to me. Flexible job hours. They offer paternity and maternity leave. That's amazing. And then also paid time off. That's really good paid time off. So far, I've marked 5 check marks. That isn't enough to get an auto conversion. So I'm also going to note that they do 401k matching. And I really like that feature as well. So as soon as I save that process, at that point, it's automatically be converted from a job lead into the other ones. You may notice that Sesame Street is no longer visible. So as I go over to the target companies, I scroll down here and you see Sesame Street right here. It's been marked as warm and those fields that I checked have been moved over along with it. When I go into a target company here, I can see all the information that I need about that contact. And if I go over to related, I can see the people, Fred Rogers, is already associated with this. If I go over to people, I see a list of people here. I'm looking for Frank Rogers, or Fred Rogers, I should say. So if I go into here, you can see it's been listed currently by their status and whether they've been contacted for informational interviews, which makes it really handy if you want to follow up with them in that way. As I go into Fred Rogers, you notice a variety of information is here. I do have a LinkedIn profile link here as well that easily opens up LinkedIn to show Fred Rogers and where he might be. That's not the focus right now, though. We're going to go on with other things. So in this case, we're going to actually use this person. We're going to highlight some of the automation tasks. So here, if I was to mark an initial contact, like, hey, I've reached out to this person. I'm going to mark that so that we can see some of the automation. I'm going to mark it a few months ago. And then I'm going to go ahead and save it, showing that I have set up an initial contact with that employee. You can see that there's an initial contact listed here. And I'm also going to go ahead and create a informational interview opportunity as well. So these are under events here. Here's the informational interview. And I'm going to do it today at noon, just so that we can make sure we see that. I'm going to save that. So now you can see the informational interview and the initial contact as well. And there will be automation. We'll come back to that. So over here, we can see all of the information here. Also down at the bottom, we see related people, so we can relate it and what kind of relationship they have with other contacts. I also chose to make sure that I saw the information at the top, so I can go, oh, I can reach them by this number, or if I want to reach them by mobile number, I can do that. And it'll even call on a special app if I wanted to. Continuing on to job applications. The job applications at Sesame Street, it's found alphabetically. I've got it listed currently so you can see that, the salary, the close date, and what stage it's in. Now, normally when we're looking at these kind of views, it's very useful to look at the Kanban view here, where here you can see along the process which ones are in which stages, and makes it really handy to kind of get an overview of what you're doing. So I'm going to go into Sesame Street here. So here's our job position. Right here, you can see in the related contact, Fred Rogers is listed as the primary role. If I choose here as the primary contact here, and I click on this, I have it filtered so it'll just show employees from that location. So I click that, save that. When I do that, you can see that along the top, the primary contact has been entered and the email to make it really easy to contact this individual. When I go over to calendar, you can see that here, the informational interview has been added for Fred Rogers at 12 o'clock, makes it very easy to view. If I go into tasks here, right now I have it sorted by the name, so we'll go down to Fred Rogers. You can see already there's been a first reminder to follow up a month after the initial contact, and a second reminder as well to follow up with that person. And there's also a note that he didn't respond a week after the initial contact, and so I should follow up and respond to him there as well. Now, if I go back to the people here, and I go to Fred Rogers, you can see on the right, now all of those different tasks and automation have already fired. So you can see that he has not responded to me within a week, and there's been 3 months that have passed that have let me know that I should foster this relationship and make sure to strengthen it. Here's the dashboard that you saw earlier. in another view. And then a variety of reports are also available for the user. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you what it looks like from the employee specialist. The key thing to note here is that when you go here, you only see the tasks and events that are available for the employee specialist. You do not see the tasks for the job seeker. If you go to the calendar, you do not see the informational interview. For tasks, you only see the tasks that are for the job seeker. For people, add new contacts right there. And for the target companies and the job leads, you may notice that there is no new button, and so they cannot click there. And even if they go to reports here and they try to drill down into a report of the informational interview outcomes, they have no data that is available. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you very much for your time, and I am available for any questions. And there is an attached appendix that will show what the future development is for later versions of this application.
Great. I'd love to see your next steps that you have if you want to pull that up.
I'm happy to show you. So here is an appendix for future development, and here are the planned developments for the next stages. You can see that under people types, I want to do record types for those who have or have not responded. I want to allow unlimited relationships between people. They'll probably involve a junction object. I want to trigger monthly foster reminders after last activity so that if you've already been connecting with the person, it doesn't remind you to foster the relationship during that time. Under job application, I want to set the date applied automatically when the stage changes. And I want to autofill the primary contact from the contact role related list instead of having to click on it and choose it. Also under interview, I would like to format the email that showed up with HTML and company background instead of the plain text that it is right now. And an employee specialist, I like to create a custom object just for the employee specialist so they can help mentor the job seeker along their way and encourage them.